Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E. Phillips, and today we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. I wanted to give you sort of a rundown of how the finale of Draft 4 ended up. It was a lot of work, but I did it. I want to give you a little update on the beta reading process as it is currently going on, and I have a couple craft book recommendations for you. So we're going to get to all of those things in this video. Before we get into it though, I do want to mention that the absolutely lovely Emma Bennett interviewed me over on her channel a few weeks back. It's been a few weeks since I've done like an actual full video, so I haven't been able to mention it yet. It's over there. I will link to her channel below as well as this video directly if you want to go check it out. We chatted about Regency romance and different resources for learning about the era, so if you're interested in any of that, definitely check it out. Emma is absolutely delightful, and she has a ton of stuff over on her channel if you've never been over there before, so definitely go check her out. So back when I had like an actual writing kind of update video, I was getting into Draft 4 and I was trying to finish it by the end of June. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to do for it, and I managed to do it. I did manage to do it, but there were some things I hadn't really factored in. I was working my butt off, you guys. I was working so hard to get it finished so that I could get all the beta reader stuff set up, but there were some things I didn't anticipate. I started the process by rereading Draft 3 just from start to finish, just read through the entire thing again. I hadn't done that in quite a while, and so I sat down and I just read through the whole thing in like 2 days just to get a sense of the flow of the story and the characters and all of the things. I'd also sent Draft 3 to my critique partners who had sent back notes on how they thought it sounded and suggestions for how to make things better, you know, all that kind of stuff. So part of Draft 4 was going to be incorporating the new critique partner notes into that. The other big thing I wanted to do was try to clean up some of the prose. There were some sentences that were a little clunky. There were a lot of reused words and phrases like throughout the entire book. And then of course you always have times where you've used the same word like 15 times in 2 paragraphs. So I wanted to clean up that kind of thing. So that was very nitpicky, detailed, kind of slow work, but I did manage to get through a good chunk of that. It's definitely better. Is it perfect? Obviously no, but I think a good amount of that has been cleaned up. The other thing I know I said I wanted to try to do for Draft 4 was to reduce the overall word count, because at the end of Draft 3 I was at like 99,000 words, and when I think about the story in my head, I'm like, how is it that long? How have I needed that many words to tell this story? It doesn't seem like it's that complicated of a story. I tried, okay? I tried to cut down the words. I can't figure out what to cut. And I was trying to be super objective going through every scene, and I did cut some stuff, but I also added some stuff. And so the word count stayed almost exactly the same. I think overall it ended up being like a couple hundred words more. It was still technically under 100,000, but only technically. It's like right at 100K. I did cut some little portions of certain scenes that were kind of extraneous, and I was trying to go through scene by scene and be like, is this scene necessary for like plot development, character development? Is the scene doing like multiple things to move the story forward? I feel like I need all the scenes that are there. I don't feel like there's any scene where nothing's really happening, or it's just sort of like this random thing. I feel like all of them are contributing to the story or the character development. I don't know what to cut. So hopefully this beta reading process, if someone sees something where they're like, why is this here? I'll be able to cut that kind of stuff, but I don't know, maybe it's a 100,000 word story. That just seems like so much. I tried, and I failed. My big goal, like I said, was to have Draft 4 finished by June 30th, and then in my brain, I was like, well, then it'll be ready to send to beta readers. Of course, before you're able to send it to anybody, you have to have recruited them. And in order to recruit them, you need to have some kind of, how am I doing this? What is the process for getting these people in place? So in addition to doing all of this work on, turning Draft 3 into Draft 4, I was also looking at how other people have done the whole beta reader process. I've looked at this before. It's not like I was looking at this for the first time or something. I was still just sort of like trying to get an idea of how I thought it should go. And that took a lot of time. I spent hours organizing not only how I wanted to organize the process, how I thought it would work best, but then also creating all of the Google Docs. Like if you watched the video last week about, you know, I'm looking for beta readers, I had the little interest form, then I had a full application. I had to write both of those, obviously. I had to do the little Word doc that gave all the details about the story. Then I had to evaluate things as they were coming in. It was just a lot. It was a lot of work to get all of that stuff set up. There was a lot of testing too, like, do I have the settings right on this form? Do I have the settings right on this Word doc kind of thing? Like, it was a lot. It took hours of my time to get all of that set up. So I wasn't anticipating that. And so that was like this added pressure to like, hurry up, you better get everything set up and in place so that when that video goes live, it's actually gonna work. But I did it. It was a little stressful, but I did it. And yeah, I got a really lovely response to everything in that beta reader video, which was great. I had almost 30 people fill out the little interest form that was linked in that video. It's now shut down because I've got plenty of people. And then I've had 11 people so far actually apply to be a beta reader, which is crazy. I was literally hoping I would find 3. I know I said like 3 to 5. I was like, please let there be at least 3. I felt like 3 was like the bare minimum. And I was like, please let there be at least 3 people. At least just three little people, please. So I was really surprised that there were that many people interested. I really was. And now I've had to, like, you know, obviously I'm not gonna have 11 beta readers. I'm really sorry. That's way too many. For me, at least, I feel like that's too many. And so I have to tell some people no. And it's not like anybody's sent in an application where I'm like, oh my gosh, definitely not this person. It's not anything, like, all of them look like they would be good. How do you pick? So that's been tough. I do have some people already in place. I've already gotten some feedback on it. I guess we're getting into the beta reader section here. Surprise, here's the transition. Yeah, so it's been going well so far. However, let me give you a little tip. If you're looking for beta readers or you're about to start looking for beta readers and you also happen to be an anxious person, you're gonna want to have some kind of very intense focus necessary task on your to-do list after you've sent your project to beta readers. Just gonna tell you that right now. I had this notion of this weekend. It's July 4th, by the way, when I'm filming this. I've had like the 4-day weekend or whatever. And so I had this notion that the video for the beta readers was gonna go up on Friday. And then like I was gonna start to get responses over the weekend. I would maybe get some people reading, blah, 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 blah. And it would just be like this relaxing weekend. I'd worked so hard last month to get everything ready and prepared. And I was like, I've got a 4-day weekend. I'll just be able to like chill. It'll be great. My anxiety was so high over the weekend. Like pit in the stomach, having trouble sleeping kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, I was like, there was, you know, obviously a big part of myself was excited. I wanted to send it. I needed to send it. But it also was scary sending it to people and hearing their feedback. Ugh. So yeah, I was an anxious mess all weekend. By Monday, I was starting to come down off of it a little bit. So that's good. And today I've been doing okay. But like the weekend was rough. It was rough. So if you are getting beta readers in place, have something to take your mind off it. Because the like chill weekend I was expecting, it has not been chill just because I've been so anxious about it. I needed something to like focus on, but there wasn't anything I had to do. I played Zelda. That was fun. But it didn't quite take my mind completely off of everything. So anyway, have something lined up for yourself to do if you're waiting on beta reader feedback, because it's a little anxiety inducing, at least for me it was. So yeah, it's been going good. I've gotten some feedback already, which has been fantastic. And the fact that I've gotten it is fantastic. It's not that all the feedback is just like high praises to the heavens or something, which is fine. That's what I need. I need it. But it's been awesome getting it back and seeing it and like starting to sort of like marinate on it or whatever. So that's been good. And yeah, I'm excited to like finish out this process and see what everybody says. I do plan to do some kind of video once I'm finished with the beta reader process. I do plan to do a video not only reviewing like my own personal experience and how I think it went, but I also want to share with you everything I did to set up how I had it set up. So I'll share with you all of the Google Doc with all of the information about the story. I'll share with you the application. I'll share with you the response questions I had for readers and like I'll share all of the things after I'm done with it, because one of the questions I'm going to have for my beta readers after they're finished is, did you like this process? Was it easy? Did it flow well? Did it seem organized? You know, all that kind of stuff. Because obviously if everyone was like, this was actually terrible, then I won't be recommending that you use any of my materials. But I think so far it seems to be going good. So yeah, as long as everybody agrees that it was organized well, I'll share everything with you guys when everybody's finished. So now let's chat craft books. I have one that is actually a craft book, and then the other two are more like writer tools, writer references. I don't know what you would call them. I don't know if I would call it a craft book necessarily. Let's start with the two reference kind of tools. I've got Body Beats to Build On by April Gardner, this one, and I've got Master Lists for Writers by Bryn Donovan. Do not ask me where I found these titles. I literally do not remember. I'll have links to all of this in the description, so if you want to check them out on Amazon or whatever, the link will be down there. These two are really more for when you're revising, I think. You could use them while you're drafting, but I would typically not use it for that. This one is all about like, here's different ways to say he smiled. Because if you say he smiled 15,000 times in your book, like that's gonna get old. So it's got all kinds of different ways to show a character's body language, to show how they're saying something, and all that kind of stuff. How are they walking? How does their laughter sound? It's got lines in it, so if you want to add your own, you can. I'm probably not going to do that, but it's been really good. Like some of the ways that she has in here to describe things, like I would literally never use, but there's been a lot in here that has been helpful so that when I'm trying to say the same thing a different way so that I'm not just repeating myself a million times, it's been very helpful. So she's got like a little bit of dialogue tag information in here too, which has been cool. I would definitely recommend this one. That one's been very excellent. Master Lists for Writers. This one is really fun. If you're a list person, this is a great list. Some of this is similar to the other book where it has like, here's different ways to show facial expressions. Here's different ways to show somebody is fearful. Like how does their body react to that? Here's different physical descriptions for eyes and hair color and all that kind of thing. She also has lists of names that would maybe fit in different time periods. She's got different ideas for settings for different types of scenes, different types of plots and plot devices you can use. Like there's just a lot of really fun stuff in here. And again, I was mainly using this for like, you know, how else can I describe how somebody is sitting instead of just saying he sat in the chair. So like this was a lot of fun for that. So again, highly recommend this one. Now we have the actual like crafty craft book. It is The Emotional Craft of Fiction by Donald Mass. I've seen this one a couple different times floating around different areas, and if you can't tell from the number of tabs that I've done here, I very much enjoyed it. If you want a book where you're gonna feel like you need to go back and rewrite your whole book, like this is the one. It actually reminded me a lot of this book. If anyone's been around for a hot minute, you might remember this one, Writing for Emotional Impact. Also highly recommend this one. This is by Carl Iglesias. I did a whole video review of this one. I'll link it below. It's pretty old, but this is an excellent book. Again, lots of tabs, lots of marks inside because it was so good. And same for this one. Like I love a book like this because he not only is giving you the what you should do, but how you should do it, or how you could do it. Obviously, I don't feel like anything in here is super prescriptive. But yeah, he's basically saying his whole premise in this book is, you know, how do you get your readers to connect emotionally? How do you get an emotional rise out of your readers, whether that's you know, warm fuzzy feelings or fear or anxiety if you're reading like a thriller or something. So really good stuff. He's got little exercises at the bottom of a lot of these chapters, and they're really good exercises. You know, sometimes exercises in writing books are like, I'm literally not gonna do that, but thank you. This one, I feel like all of these exercises are really good. He's asking you to think more deeply about your characters, about the scene they're in, about the place they're in, how they would react, and how to get your reader to connect with that. So anyway, I very much enjoyed it. Highly recommend this one. So yeah, that's where I've been. That's what I'm doing. It's going well so far. And next on the docket, if you didn't watch this video, you might want to check it out because I've explained kind of what I'm planning to do for every month going forward through the end of the year. We'll see. We're still on track. We're still on track at this moment. But July is the month that I was going to try to write a query letter and a synopsis and a book blurb. If you received the Google Doc with more information about beta reading, I did have a book blurb in there. Was it a good book blurb? Probably not. Be honest with you, probably not. But I wanted to have some sort of little summary in there. My big purpose for this month is because the book is off with beta readers, I assume I won't have all of the feedback for quite a few weeks. I want to spend some time working on a query letter and synopsis particularly. I have that query camp in a couple weeks, so my goal is to kind of get some sort of draft level query letter and synopsis ready to go, learn a whole bunch at this query camp, and then be able to revise them into something hopefully usable by the end of the month. So that's what I'm looking to do. I'm going to try to do the query letter writing next weekend, and I'm planning at this point to vlog it so that you can watch me suffer as I try to write a query letter. But for today, I think that is about it. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I post videos on Fridays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!